I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have our own personal pops on the as our centerpiece. We didn't talk about that. Kind of
sticks with the theme.
Yeah, because I feel like a zombie, and that's me there. I'm trying to break free with the things that I love.
I'm a superhero.
And you are Mark Geiger.
Yeah.
Or whatever the superhero name was.
It's we've all been there. We've all been in that moment of having the job where I'm in my heart and soul, I've always known I needed to be over here.
Yeah.
But work, society, blah, 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 told me I need to be over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, the show delves right into that.
This is Geek Off The Street, your go-to channel for all things from obscure geekdom to modern-day pop culture and everything else in between.
What's up, everybody?
Hello. Hey.
We're back.
Yeah, we are.
As we always are.
Always.
No surprise, because we're here every week.
Yeah, we are.
My name is Trent.
And my name is Mark.
And this is Geek Off The Street. Greatest podcast of all time. Talk about geek culture, pop culture, whatever else we want. Deal with it. This week's no exception because we're talking about
Zom 100.
Zom 100.
In all its different manifestations.
Yes, the sort of recently concluded anime. Because it was so delayed for a long time.
They have some hiccups.
12 episodes?
12 episodes. Yeah. There's also a Netflix live action show.
Movie.
Live action movie.
Yeah.
And it's all based on a manga.
Yeah.
It came out in 2018.
Exactly, yeah. We're getting all that.
Yeah, we are.
But first, while we're talking about what we're drinking today, gotta talk about something else. But real quick, we are drinking what I was told last night was called the Aguarita, based on the Agua Caliente casino that was out last night.
Nice.
I was there seeing Kevin Smith.
Nicer.
The director, one of my heroes. It was awesome seeing him. But the drink is basically tequila, blue curacao, triple sec, some lemon juice, and
a whole lot of love.
Yeah, exactly. A little splash of lemon, sweet and sour.
But a whole lot of love.
Whole lot of love, though, mostly, yeah. And or I think it's also referred to as a blue margarita, maybe. But
this should be in a margarita glass. This is 100% margarita.
100%, yeah. It has a taste of it, yeah. But yeah, it has a lot of good flavors in it, and we're enjoying it. Yeah. So cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Very good. Yeah, watch the video on how to make it. Super simple and delicious.
Yeah, for sure. So real quick, we talked about it last week. Our good friend Wilbur McKesson, the author.
Hi, Wilbur.
Buddy. He wrote another book. This is the second book, and the book comes out in June. But this is the exciting thing. We have partnered with him to give away 5 of his books leading up until the release in June.
That is a gift.
Yes.
To you.
Right. So if you guys don't want to wait that long, 5 of you lucky listeners can win yourself a copy of this actual copy of the book, signed by Wilbur himself in here somewhere.
We should keep these.
Yeah, right? Signed by Wilbur, and we'll be giving these away once a month. The way you win them will be announced next Wednesday when we start the competition. I can give you hints, a bit of a trivia thing, but it's an opinion trivia thing based on what me, Wilbur, and Mark are as far as preferences on certain things. So
how well do you know us?
How well do you know us or Drew is basically the point. So we have some crossover fans. We will have our own separate audiences as well. So that's what's gonna make it fun. So basically, it's based on, do you guys listen to us and do you know us well enough?
Right. And you all get a fair shot. Everybody gets a fair shot.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll be giving away a book a month, basically. So you guys can get a signed copy of that. And I'm just gonna say we're working on also putting a Geek Off The Street gift in there as well. If we can make it happen, we're really working hard to get it happen. But we also want to pair these with the gift from us as well. So it's not just coming out of Drew's pocket. But I'm okay with it paying for everything. Right. I'm okay with that. Yeah. So anyway, all the details will be in this post that we do about the giveaway starting next Wednesday. That's gonna be February 7th. So make sure you tune in every Wednesday and Friday to be part of the game to get yourself a free copy of Wilbur's new book, Retribution.
Nice.
That's that. All right. I'm so excited for this
Wilbur.
book.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. One of these actual copies is going to one of you out there. Throwing that over there. Anyway, so yeah, I was saying recently that I did get to go see. I know we don't do how we're doing this week anymore, but I went to go see Kevin Smith yesterday. If you guys don't know, he is the director of all the Jay and Silent Bob films, the Clerks films, a bunch of other movies like Chasing Amy, and there's in the Viewers universe, basically is what he calls it. He plays Silent Bob in all the movies he does, but he's the director. So he came and did a Q&A, basically, is what it was. I didn't know what it was. Yeah. But yeah, he just answered questions about his life, about filmmaking, about everything that, about, he had that really crazy heart attack that called the Widowmaker that he should have died from. And just, and it was really inspiring, everything he said, basically. Cool. And essentially at the end of it, he was just like, if you have a dream, go start it now, this year. Go start it this year. And it was awesome, man. It was so cool. And he's funny. He's a cool guy. He's a geek. Talked about comic book stuff too. Yeah. You know how he is. But yeah, it was awesome, man. It was really, really cool to see. So I'm super inspired. So
no, that's very cool. That's very cool.
A lot of projects we want to work on. So
I think it was just taking just the microphone was going around the crowd, or
it was like they have they put two mics in two different aisles. Yeah. And you can walk up and ask questions.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance because I was on one of the top. I was on nosebleeds, so I couldn't get down there. But I would have asked him some filmmaking questions.
Like, hey, ask him this.
Right. Or maybe giving him the rapid fire questionnaire from. No,
that would have been cool.
Would have had someone filming for him. But it's all right. I got to see him, and he talked about a lot of great stuff, man. So,
nice.
Yeah, super inspired, and so we're gonna do. We're gonna follow that lead and do some more.
That ties in great to this episode too.
Yeah,
that's
it really
cool.
really does.
Very
yeah,
cool.
Baby, exactly. That was my point.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
I meant to say that.
He knows where he's
I meant
going.
to tie it all up because we're talking about this show called Zom 100, and it's essentially about the main character named Akira. He is he works for a job that he thought he was gonna love. It turned out to be like a what they call an exploitative job. And Japan has a lot of those places where they just work you to death, which is
right.
Yeah, Japan is amazing, man, but there are a lot of issues also, like the work culture, bullying, mental health is not something that they focus on at all.
Yeah.
A lot of those things aren't focused on. And he's about him dealing with this, and then one day he's so miserable, doesn't want to go to work, and then he wakes up and the zombie apocalypse has happened.
Yeah.
And the first thing he says is, I don't have to go to work today. Yeah. So, and basically it's about and he creates his bucket list about all the things 100 things he wants to do before he becomes a zombie.
Right. And he knows the odds are against him.
Yeah, but he just wants to
live life to the fullest.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot about the show that I really enjoyed. I don't want to get into, but that's basically the premise of Zom 100, and and the funny thing is too, like, I know we've said on the show like a long time ago we brought this up. Like, well, I know I said it to you. Yeah, 100%.
And RJ, I'm just trying to remember if I ever said it on the show. I don't know. Maybe one of the early episodes. I don't know.
I was gonna say for sure, but actually now I'm thinking about it. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
But we had talked about like the popularity at one point of like a dystopian type movies and shows and books and comics and like the zombie type apocalypse or any type of end of the world scenario. Yeah. And why people are so obsessed with it.
Right,
and
right.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I mean, and the author of this, kind of thought the same thing clearly too. But
you hear our episode, and
I know, right? Yeah. Right, man. This keeps happening. Neil deGrasse Tyson solar stuff.
I know, right?
Come on, guys. Yeah. Come on. You can't be Geek Off the Street. But the point is, we had made the argument, or kind of brought up that the reason why people are so, kind of like low-key obsessed with the zombie apocalypse and, they kind of want it to happen, but, not really. But if it did, it'd be great because kind of thing is for that reason. You don't have to go to work the next day. Yeah. And that's just kind of a, contrite little funny way of saying essentially that you don't have to play by the rules that society has placed on you anymore. And those big rules are, and it's not even so much rules of society. It's just like how you live. It's the whole having to get up, having to go to work, having to do, all the stuff that you don't want to do that really makes you miserable. Yeah. That I'm sure everyone has thought about at some point in time, especially if you're an adult, this is not how life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like humanity was not, did not rise up here on Earth to go to a place, punch a clock, and, shuffle papers around. You know what I mean? That's not the point of life.
Yeah.
So when you have a chance to throw all that away, it's an exciting thing. It's something that motivates you. You know what I mean? So it's interesting that, like I said, we brought it up before, and it's probably not, other people probably, they might have realized that
we're not the first ones, but
maybe,
but it makes sense. And this is like very, very, like it confirms that people have that same thought that, it's not, obviously you lose things like internet, running water, the nice things about life,
right?
The comforts, you lose all that, but you're also uninhibited. Like you are completely free to live the way you want to live, despite the situation you're in. Which is which could be good and bad. We can get the best of humanity and also the worst of humanity when there's no rules. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And this is one of those shows where it brings it's not even so much. I missed it again. Sorry, guys. It's not so much about the worst. This show really isn't about that. At least so far, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll get into the end. The last arc,
I mean, at some points you kind of see some other stuff, but just in comparing it to something like, let's say, Walking Dead, where it was just the worst in humanity came out, or that's what they experienced. Which is fine. That's the story you're telling. That's fine. This story, they are not telling that. At least not as it's not as dark as The Walking Dead by any stretch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very lighthearted. It's very fun.
Exactly.
And it does make it look fun.
Right, if it went down, I mean, but they clearly had, I mean, there's always the fun part when a zombie apocalypse starts. It's like getting the food. Well, one is that you're not going to be having to deal with that many zombies that are going to, they're going to surround you and all this other kind of nonsense. They didn't deal with this in this show. Right? So they were out there, but they could ride a bike or a motorcycle and get right past them. They could go right to the convenience store, grab the food that they wanted, the beer they wanted, and go back home. They still had the internet. They still had running water and electricity for a while. So it's the fun. It's the dream of what you would want the apocalypse to be. You still want to have all your, all those essentials, at the, touch of a, dial or flip of a switch. But the reality is, I mean, that's going to fall apart pretty quick. But
most definitely. And I'll continue to say that the Japanese convenience stores are the best, man. The food in there is like top quality food. It's like a 7-Eleven had great food, basically.
That's interesting.
Yeah, just to give you some context, right? Like I've had sushi at the Japanese 7-Eleven that's better than some of the restaurants I've had here in America. That's how good it is. So those first couple days are probably great. You could probably you could eat whatever you want, good quality food for a while. I mean,
for a while you're going to be good.
That stuff's all perishable though, so eventually. And then they do get into some parts where there's like the zombies are starting to get more, like multiplying more and more as more people turn, and it starts getting harder to kind of get around, that was that was cool. Like I guess one of the positives is that they pepper those things in, right? Like there's that, like God, so many things I want to say about it, but like when I watched the first episode, everybody knows, if you guys have watched one episode of our show, you know how unhappy I am with my job and what I do for a living. And I was honestly the first episode that I watched where it shows him getting that job and then immediately becoming a zombie. Like he's becoming a zombie at his job. I started feeling depressed. I was like, man, that's exactly how I feel every single day. Like just punching in, being miserable, doing this fucking bullshit job that I don't care about, and then clocking out, going home, and doing it again, So I was like starting to get kind of like, I was like, this feels like myself. I am starting to feel not good right now. And then when it happens, and he's excited, and he gets to like, it's like the first thing I want to do is just enjoy a cold beer, not have to go to work, enjoy a cold beer.
During the
day. And that moment when he drinks his first beer is just like, I was like, oh yeah, I get it, man. I identify so much with that,
But
my point, I guess, I was getting at is like one of the positives that they made it really fun, really funny, a lot of really exciting moments. But like, they have that like the transit, like the moments that aren't great, also peppered in. Like when he's climbing down the thing, he's like, I'm gonna go on a beer run, you know.
Yeah.
And he meets that couple,
right?
And they're like, oh, can I get you anything? And they're like, oh yeah, bring us some toilet paper and some whatever ramen or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll be right back, and he takes off. And then he's like he has the whole beer run, has a good time, He meets the girl.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's climbing up the thing, and they obviously had gotten attacked.
Yeah, their apartment has clearly been broken into, destroyed, and it's disheveled, and
there's blood everywhere, and then obviously they didn't make it. So it was like a great like fun moment, and then the dynamic, the change, the shift, and like, oh well,
the reality of it.
There's some not great moments in that, and they did those shifts really well, like putting in the serious moments among the the kind of fun, exciting moments. Yeah.
The funny thing is, in the live action movie, that couple survived.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He bumps into them later in the live action movie. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Man, I started watching. I got about 15 minutes into it. I just didn't have time to finish the live action one. I wanted to be able to watch them both and compare them.
It was good. The live action one, same thing. He's going down the drain pipe, and they're like, huh? And he says he's gonna go bring them back some stuff. And the woman is pregnant in that as well.
Oh, okay.
So just make it that much more tricky.
Yeah.
But he does come across them later on.
Oh, okay.
When he comes across his boss again, which is which is an interesting thing. But again, one thing that I like about it too is, especially in that first episode, the first episode sets up everything so perfectly. It really tells you. It puts you in this guy's shoes immediately, that he's this wide-eyed, optimistic, got the job that he wanted kind of thing. And he gets there and everything's great. Everyone's friendly. They're like, hey, and they're like, hey, welcome aboard. And like, they're all kind of joking around.
Yeah.
And it seems like such a fun, light environment, and then they all go out for drinks later, and they're all having a good time. They're all like, oh yeah, have this, and he's looking over at the girl that he likes, and just saw her, like just met her like that same day, but he's already infatuated with her, and they kind of make eye contact, and she kind of waves at him a little bit, you know what I mean, and everything's great. And they're like, okay, it's time to wrap things up, and he's like ready to go home. It's like, no, we're not going home, we're going back to work,
back to the office,
right, which is a clearly again, like you said, like the whole work culture. And I've seen it enough in watching Japanese media, but I'm like, oh, that can't be true. But I don't know. I wonder how extreme it is out there.
I think it is to an extent. Some of those places really, like, it's even to the point where it's like, it's you get your vacation time, but it's frowned upon because they want you to feel you're causing a burden to the rest of the staff because you're gone, not holding up, And I've always, it was a dream of mine for a long time to go teach English in Japan. Like, live in Japan for a year, and I had some friends that went that overall loved it, but you were expected to work like extra or overtime without overtime pay because you're contracted as a teacher. You get X amount of money, and so they expect you to do more work, stay longer, do extra things that aren't in your job description, and not expect to get compensated for it, and that's kind of I mean, it's good to have that. They have a culture where it's like everyone's here to work.
I mean, that's always the thing about Japan. It's like a huge let's get the job done. Kind of thing. There's a lot of. Watch that movie Gung Ho that came out in the '80s. We'll let that go.
But you see like a sense of honor, in doing that. That's why there's no like the schools. There's no janitors. The kids clean the whole school. They stay after and they clean the whole entire school. It's like that kind of thing. That wouldn't happen here. No way.
Not by,
what I mean? But by the same token, it's like, it can be exploited, pushed a little bit further. Yeah. And
so you're saying they don't have unions out there?
Maybe not. Yeah.
We're getting controversial. Yeah. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not saying nothing about nothing.
Right. Yeah.
This show just got political.
Yeah. We try to stay away from it too.
Yeah. Right.
Here we are. Yeah.
Right back in the muck.
But yeah, no, that was that moment when when it shifts and they all stand up from the tables and
they put their
badges back on. And I'll come down. And they're all just back.
Their lanyards come out. Right back to it.
Yeah.
The point I was ultimately trying to make, I was just sort of kind of rambling on, was like I said, that first episode did a really good job of setting all that up. Mm-hmm. And then he's so conditioned because he ends up being there for 3 years when we see him. Mm-hmm. And it's a relatively small segment, it's a few minutes within the episode, but they show how everybody is just being abused essentially. Yeah. And they're all like, they laugh it off essentially. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, you've been working for this and doing that. Huh? Come back when you've got an ulcer. You know what I mean? Or that kind of thing. Oh, you're pissing blood. That doesn't mean anything. I got, this and that going on. And they're sleeping under their desk. They got they're showing all this kind of craziness going on. And it's cool because it's not cool, but they show like he's been there for 3 years and he's so conditioned that when the apocalypse breaks out, like in the morning, he's on his way to work, like as he's running away from these things, he's saying, and they kind of do it as a joke, but it's kind of real. He's thinking like, or he yells, "I'm going to be late for work."
Yeah,
right. And now, to anybody, it sounds like it sounds dumb or it sounds like a joke or whatever. Yeah. But I would make the argument that he was really thinking that. He wasn't thinking like, ha ha ha, I'm going to be late for work. He was really thinking, I've got to be to work.
Yeah.
And I say that because I know there have been times when I've been going to work, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I got to be there in like another 5 minutes kind of thing. So I need to hurry up and go. And I'm thinking like, if I see somebody like do something crazy on the road and I'm like, oh man, you guys almost caused an accident.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, like, what would I have done if I saw that accident happen? Would I do, quote unquote, do the right thing and stop, help, witness, blah, blah, blah? Or would I say to myself, and I guarantee you, anybody watching this that is an adult has probably thought, if I saw it and I'm on my way to work and I got to be there in a few minutes, I got to get to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just the kind of crazy conditioning that we have that they struck on in this show. And that's in that first episode. It's just that conditioning. And that conditioning comes up later in the series.
Yeah.
But I love that they did that, the author gets it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like I said, if something like that were to happen, like I do that all the time. I always kind of think like, if something were to go down right now, would I stop, or is my main concern going to be getting to work on time? Kind of thing. So it's great. The show does a fantastic job, of doing that. It's very good.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it makes it feel real, among this fantastical situation, obviously, Yeah. No, I mean, overall, I did, man. I know we've been talking about anime a lot recently. Yeah. And I've been struggling to really completely get into it. This show, and I'll get to the tail end of the series. But for the most part, this show made me really interested in anime. Like this really got me into it because I'm already.
CJ, you listening?
Yeah, there's already one point where I was really into the zombie genre. Like the first short film I tried to make was a zombie movie. Yeah. And most zombie movies aren't great, but they're a lot of times they're fun.
They are what they are. Yeah, exactly. They're supposed to be fun.
Yeah, and so that might be a part of it. But this show was pretty different, and I think on top of that, the message really hit me because really it's not about a zombie apocalypse. It's not about it's about being with people you care about, and also don't wait for the zombie apocalypse to do what you're meant to do in life. That's the point of it so far for me.
Yeah,
that's what I took away from it, and I think, and it's so important to remember that. You know what I mean? So that's what I saw, and that's why I really enjoyed the show. But that's why the point of the show was that, and I took a lot away from that, and it really resonated with me a lot because of where I'm with my life right now and what I want to do. I kind of wish I was Akira, at this point. The show also made me laugh a lot, man.
Right on.
There were a lot of funny parts in the show, like
it's definitely a comedy.
Just for him, like, man, being so excited to go on a beer run. And then you just see him be like running into the, and I was like,
singing it,
singing it, running into the convenience store, and then man, I laughed really loud when they were doing the RV episode, trying to find an RV. And there's that one part where she was like, "We're getting this one.
Right, this is the most practical
one." Yeah. And then like there's that part where he's where him and Kensho, they're like echoing each other, and he's like,
Kensho's just backing up whenever he said like a little parrot.
And he was just like, that one doesn't even look like an RV, and he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't look like an RV." And he's like, "Yeah, man," and it's just like, and I could see like her like having to deal with this nonsense, really like, this is making me angry with this, how ridiculous this is. But man, I laughed a lot in this show, man. It made me laugh a lot, and
that's cool.
It cracked me up. So that was another part. Was the comedy was great to me,
right?
And while cut in with the serious moments that were the honest reality of the crisis, as well as like when he sees his boss again, like reverting back to that, that
conditioning just kicks right in.
Like there are those moments that were like very real and very raw, and I was like, oh, this sucks, but it was a very good balance. The show was very well balanced, I think.
I do like to see, and they didn't do it, they did it sometimes, not a whole lot, but I really enjoy comedies that do get serious. They slip in like that real message kind of thing, because you don't see it coming. You know what I mean? Your defenses are down when it does come into play, and it hits you in your core that much harder. You just feel it that much more. You know what I mean? Like MASH was a great show that did that. It was a comedy, but it dealt with war, and they had to. There was no way for them to really do a comedy series about war and not, bring in the life and death elements in it. So it was a great series that kind of did the same thing. It was a comedy, but when they brought in those serious moments, like it was a punch right in the gut kind of thing.
The
one thing that I thought was interesting too, like when you're watching this series, there are so many like random like sporadic colors thrown all over the place, right? So on one level, it kind of looks like old video games where they wouldn't show blood, so they would kind of change the color for a little bit, and that's what it kind of seemed like, because you would see these zombies and they have these different colors on them. And I'm thinking, oh, they're trying not to make it too graphic.
Right.
That was my initial impression. Should I? All right. Stand by, everybody.
We are in a studio.
We're okay.
In a very metropolitan area. So.
Right.
And, sorry about that.
We're okay.
We're good though.
We're okay. That's the important thing.
My thing is like, choose a direction. Like, how, like where are you going? Go. I feel like that ambulance is going in a circle right outside our studio.
Just around here. It probably doesn't help. I'm looking windows open too.
I noticed that too. I noticed that. It was hot, man. I don't want to.
I know it was. I know.
It's the worst thing to be like. It was like 78 degrees in Southern California today.
Yeah, but listen, when it's 78 degrees and you're doing stuff,
it's still uncomfortable, man.
It's impactful.
Again, I drive a truck, man. Our ACs don't work well.
Right,
and it was hot, man. It was hot in the winter while I was working.
And I'm lazy, so you gotta take all this into account, guys.
Just because we have perfect weather all the time doesn't mean it's always perfect here. Right? Yeah.
So you think about that before you judge us.
So anyway,
we should
absolutely. It's way too nice here.
I completely lost track.
The colors.
Yes, thank you. The colors. I was about to. You really set that up like the song "Colors." Ice-T before your time. Don't worry, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. There's a few of you that might get it. Not a lot, but there's okay. Moving on. So the colors, right? There are all these crazy colors all over the place. And at first, I thought it was just they didn't want to make it look too gory. So they did it that way. But then I thought it's more of Akira's outlook on the world, because now the world is bright, it's colorful, it's happy and fantastic. Even though there's a terrible situation going on, he's free now.
Yeah,
right? So when you see all these crazy weird colors in it, that's what's really going on. It's Akira's it's his impression of everything. It's like, yeah, it's bad, but it's not that bad. Not for him anyway. It's not that bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember, I didn't even think about that, but because really, because the darkest and like hardest parts of the show are before it happens, really. And
right, and there's a lot of like gray and a lot of drab colors that you see in it. You know that it's all in there, and then
most definitely.
Once the stuff hits the fan, all that goes down.
It's bright.
Yeah. There was one really funny thing in the live action one where he's got his bucket list, and I think one of them might have been he wanted to paint he wanted to do a self-portrait of himself kind of thing. Did you see that part?
No,
of the movie?
I didn't get that far now.
Yeah, so he does a portrait of himself, and it's perfect. Yeah, it's like it's him, it's the actor. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
but he does it like on the side of like a skyscraper. So it's the stupidest thing in the world. He's like, paint a self-portrait, and he does it on a building.
Yeah.
Where it like if you had like office windows, it probably took up like 50 office windows.
Oh wow.
He just climbed up on a skyscraper and like I'm just gonna go ahead and paint my picture on it. Yeah. It may be like a skyscraper. It might have been like maybe like a 50-story building, something like that, maybe. Yeah. But it was hilarious, and it like I said, it looked absolutely perfect, right? It's got like some pastels in it, and he's like, he kind of checks it off. He draws a line through it. Okay, I did that, and I'm like, and all this happens, and so you did that like in a day. So it's one of those things that would take like weeks to do, but it was a funny moment.
That's pretty funny.
I'm trying to think what else. I mean, there was a lot that was really good about this show, and I think a lot of it, the best of it, in my opinion, happened in that very first episode.
Yeah,
I think that's what really got to me.
Yeah,
and the funny thing is, man, like you were saying, like how you're with your job, and a lot of people, I think resonate.
Yeah, it connects people for
concept.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, getting towards the end of the series, like I was saying about how these kind of situations probably can bring out the best and the worst of humanity, I think. And I think, like for Akira, he becomes his best self, I think, during this crisis. But then the other guy, I'm blanking on his name, but the kid that was bullied. I guess he's bullied or not bullied, but he was kind of a shut in. He also thrived, but in a bad way.
Right. That was very like literally he was the opposite.
And it caused a lot of havoc and really
and he had his own bucket list.
But it was like completely the opposite. To harm people and to cause him much damage as a kid. And his one thing was like to see everybody I hate turn into a zombie. Like, that's pretty shitty, And so to have two people not held down by rules, one of them to just live it to the fullest, and the other one to live it to the fullest, but like in a bad way.
Right.
It really showed that to me. And then you have why am I picking on the characters' names? The girl that was like 100 things to do to not get bit. The very like tightening it up and being safe. And like being very like organized and controlled and knowing, even to the point where she wouldn't take the mochi, the dessert.
Right. Yeah. Like
sugar
no sugar.
Is not. Right. So there's like really there's a lot of different, the way people respond to crisis and situations like that was different for all of them. And I think these kind of like post-apocalypse type, dystopian type things, zombie apocalypse movies kind of show that in humanity, I think. And those are the most interesting parts about these types of movies when they're done well. Is getting into that, the human response, not so much the freaking zombies. But that was one of the big things towards the end that I was kind of cool with. But
and that whole dynamic of there was this other guy that had his own, like, I think he literally had a bucket list of like terrible things he he essentially wanted to do with his friends. And his friends had terrible things that they added to the list as well. They were all bad people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they had and they kind of went into their backstories a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I loved seeing the one with the guy that didn't like his wife,
Yeah,
kind of thing. That was
yeah.
interesting. Like
Yeah.
he, you know, he's trying to do the right thing, and his wife always kind of nagged on
Yeah,
him,
it's
and
kind of a
you know, this
nagging,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. And then Kinjo kind of brought up, I don't know if I said his name right, but he brought up the point that was Akira's friend.
Yeah.
Brought up the point, like, did you even do anything to kind of meet her halfway?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
try to do anything with her?
Did you make her the queen of your life? You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, man, you might be miserable, but there's, you know, you might be to blame for some of it. Even with the girl that had the chainsaw, you know, she was going off and getting ready. You know, she had they all these bad people had interesting backstories.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I think everybody on some level probably could relate to them because they were normal people.
Yeah, yeah.
Before that, they weren't psychotic. They weren't sociopaths. They weren't murderers before, and now they are, kind of thing. They were just people that were just like the people you work next to, or just like you. But they, you know, for whatever reason, they wanted to act on their worst impulses, and they wanted to victimize people who weren't to blame for what happened to them, but the people they wanted to victimize weren't there, so they were like, well, here's somebody I can victimize, so I'm going to do it to them.
True, yeah.
Kind of thing. And that's,
and you do see that, and you feel a little bit of compassion for it, but at the same time, you have Akira, who was also abused in his life.
Right,
and
right.
He used that as a way to
do something
be better.
To be better, to do something more inspiring. Right, yeah. And that's what that was very interesting. That's what made it so cool. Like, would you literally come across, you know, in the zombie apocalypse, you're going to go to your hometown and you're going to find the guy you went to college with that nobody liked and nobody talked to, and he's got his own band of people. Yeah. And you and your band have a list of what you want to do, and they have a list of all the bad things they want to do. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Is it good storytelling? Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, at the very least, it's entertaining at the very least, and it does create a great conflict.
Right, yeah. And you don't, like I said, you don't look at that literally. Like I said, you're not going to look at that like, oh, the guy from his college, blah blah blah. Like I said, that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. But as far as telling the story about a person, or not even, I take that back. It's not about a person. It's about people and the choice you have. Yeah. When whatever the situation is, you have the choice to do right or wrong, good, bad. Yeah. You know, easy, or do the hard and right thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You don't really have a choice of the outside situation, but you have a choice on how to respond to it.
How to respond to it.
So yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Obviously, they responded differently.
Right.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to say was that I liked the characters a lot. Yeah. I really enjoyed the characters. Akira, obviously, I relate to a lot. Yeah. Kensho cracked me up, man, and his whole
nudity.
Yeah, he's always naked. And just, I want to be a stand-up comedian. I'm like, yeah, get it, man, go for it. And even to learn that his life wasn't as great as he made it out to be. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Which was that was nice. Cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And then to see
Kenichiro,
that was it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why I'm blanking on that girl's name.
Shizuka.
Shizuka. Yeah. All right. So she was so serious. Yeah. And then you kind of see her start to meet a little bit closer in the middle, like kind of starting to lighten up a little bit and kind of trying to enjoy things. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I'll fill in really quick, like the melt that she has, where she goes from being this extremely serious, methodical person to being this person that they can get along with and have fun with and relax with. Yeah. The cool thing about that is that they just didn't give it to you. Like they really had to earn her trust and her friendship. Right. Like she meets him for the first time and he's, you know, singing the Biru song you know, at the store and everything, and he's like, hey, we should probably, you know, work together. And she's like, no,
I've already calculated you're a risk.
You're a risk, so there's no need for us. And so they literally have like 2 or 3 meetings, and he literally has to save her from a shark in order for her to be like, all right, here's my contact information.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
but
it.
Even that's it.
That's it. Like you've earned that. Yeah. You know, and again, that the whole shark thing that goes into kind of the silliness of the show.
Yeah.
You know, it's
ridiculous.
It's completely silly. It's completely ridiculous, but it's funny.
Yeah.
To think that a shark on land is going to be a threat to you, and the way they do it, it's completely it's completely not to be really taken seriously.
Exactly,
but it's you know, it's just a bit of fun. You know, some sugar to help the medicine go down.
Right, there you go.
As Mary Poppins once said.
Yeah, but even by then, they run into her by chance going to get the RV.
Yeah,
like that, and she wasn't ever
they
planning to travel with anybody or be with anybody.
And they just bump into each other,
and then they have to, or they decide. You know, she decides to go with them, and then they have to.
and they convince her because like it's too risky. Like you don't know how to drive.
You don't know how to drive.
That's a risk.
So, that's more of a risk.
That hit her at her core. She's like, oh my god, that is a risk. So maybe I do need to rethink this.
But yeah, so I thought the characters a lot. We didn't get to know the German girl much.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, she was like your typical anime character. She was fun, but we didn't get to learn much about her. But I did like that they showed each of their past, a lot of their past, like Akida's and Ken shows, and then Shizuka's like her past also was kind of sad. Like she had a very distant father that did. It was only
a lot of them were in this. They were in a very similar situation where they were being controlled by their circumstances or by what was going on around them. You know, Akira didn't like his job, and he felt like he couldn't get out of it. He felt like he was stuck in it to the point where he was like just mentally broken. Even Kenichiro, like he was doing his job, and he on the surface had a great job. Yeah, but he wasn't happy with it. You know, it didn't bring him fulfillment. And then even, you know, with whatever I said her name was,
Shizuka.
Shizuka, like her whole life, like from childhood, she was being groomed to be, I don't know, like just the best, to kind of take over her father's company, and that everybody else was beneath her, and not to associate with anything that was gonna, you know, that was lower than her, which was like everything by this guy's standard. Right. So she was locked into this thing like from day one for her. So all three of these characters, you know, we don't know anything about Beatrix yet. You know, maybe she might have been the same. Maybe not, though, because she was living her dream in Japan, it seemed like. But these three main characters, they were all trapped by their circumstances or not even trapped. They couldn't see their way out of it is a better way to put it, because they could have walked away from it any time if they wanted to, which is great because once we see Akira meet up with his boss later, like it was great storytelling again, because he goes right into this employee mindset. You know what I mean? And he's been free and he's been doing what he's wanted for X amount of days, 7, 10 days, whatever the case may be. But once he comes across his boss again, it's like the programming kicked back in again. He became the Winter Soldier, and he was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do," and he couldn't see his way out of it. He justified, you know, all the dumb crap his abusive boss had him doing, you know, and the boss was still abusive. He was
manipulative, all that.
Right. Yeah. So it was, and that was cool. And then when he does finally kind of realize that I don't have to do this anymore, and he really does break free, and he's like, and he's not mad, he's not angry. He's like, sorry, you know, I can't do this anymore. It's been great. I appreciate all your help. Sorry. And he's like, I can't get back here. Sorry, I can't. I don't know. Sorry. You know, he's just like, nah, pretty graceful. I'm done. Which, it was cool to see him have that moment where he could tell his boss off. You know? And it wasn't about telling his boss off, really. You know, it's just about him, you know, kind of, you know, deprogramming himself. Right. You know? Exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting, man. It's like I said, the way that they have leaned into the telling the story of the zombie apocalypse. It is like you're saying, it's about the people. And all that kind of stuff. You can have a job that is a good job, but you want something more, something different.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a job where you are abused or whatever, and you want something different. You can like from day one, you could have been a very successful, you know, and at the top of your industry kind of thing, but you still still need to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And you don't feel whole until you do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, again, you know, what this show is what it's about, what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Man. I think, it connects for sure. They do a very good job of doing that, I think. Any process where we get into negatives or?
Yeah. No, go for it. I can't think. Yeah. What negatives do you have?
I don't really have too many negatives, but you know, like you're talking about the shark thing. Like there were moments where it felt like an anime. Like it started to begin to feel like an anime, and that was I don't want to like really blame it, quote unquote, on this, but it kind of seemed like the initial concept is this. We got it out of the way, and now it's just kind of antics about whatever his bucket list is. We can just use this as not necessarily filler, but like it can just kind of be wacky.
I was just about to say it was kind of a filler.
Yeah,
he had all this somewhat realistic stuff, somewhat, you know, going on, and then all of a sudden this shark on land.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Going on. Yeah, it was 100% it turned into like an anime.
Right. Yeah.
The fact that he had punched it and the lightning
batteries,
bolts and
got it and whatever. Yeah, and he was like,
I don't think D batteries work that way.
I don't think so at all.
You know,
but
yeah, it's
an anime. Yeah, and I accepted it for that. But there were moments where it felt really like an anime, and it was definitely like fantastical outside of like you know, the zombie apocalypse, real human people, and then now it's like we're getting a little silly, and anime-esque, you know, and that. I kind of got a little taken out of it because I was really like, man, this feels so good and real, and I'm connecting to it. And then it got really goofy, like really anime-ish for a little while. Some of those in-between episodes were kind of like, started getting kind of bored towards the end. Yeah. And those last couple episodes were pretty good, I think, in a lot of ways. But I did start to feel a little bored, you know, episode 7, 8, 9, those kind of areas, you know. Yeah. Outside of the stuff that was like the meat, you know what I mean? Like the stuff about Akira and dealing with his life and those kind of stuff. Those kind of things were really interesting. The in-between kind of felt like filler to me. And then on top of that, it was like really silly anime type stuff. Yeah. Those are the big ones. Nothing that made me hate the show at all. Right. But there were kind of moments where I was like, okay, I'm a little bored of this now. Like, let's move forward a little bit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I kind of gave it a pass, I think, just because I felt like I kind of realized what it was, or I took it for, you know, again, it was an anime, so maybe I wasn't able to go 100% into it. I was, you know what I mean? I was still like, okay, there might be something anime-esque coming into play later. And sure enough, it does. I mean, the whole concept of, I'm trying not to say it, so I don't want to spoil it necessarily if you watch it. But yeah, the whole fact that this shark is, you know, going after people, you know, on land and how it's happening, and
it's like 3 zombies are inside the shark, and
right,
feet are
the legs coming out, it looks, it's funny, it looks ridiculous because you're thinking like, I'm on land, I don't have to worry about a shark, but then the shark's coming after you, in its own way, so yeah, that was definitely it was silly, but I think I kind of gave it a pass just because there was so much more. There was a lot of good. There was more good than I think there was bad. You know? And I liked it when he ended up going back home, and again, like, he comes across his character that he went to college with, and like I said, he lives in his hometown was, you know, they established is a very secluded, very out of the way hidden village. Right. And the fact that this, like the worst person, you know, or most mentally disturbed person from his college ends up there with the gang that's doing the exact same thing he's doing. Yeah. You know, it's not realistic, but I do like him coming to some sort of this like catharsis. Yeah, catharsis. Thing with his parents, with his mom and dad, kind of thing. So, and that's one of those things I think at some point in time, typically every child wants to have some kind of they want to pay back their parents, or they want their parents to be proud of them, kind of thing. So I think that's 100% natural. It was cool that they brought that up, you know, and that he does get that, you know, which is fine. You don't always get that, and you have to live with that kind of thing. But it was cool that, you know, they brought it up, and
definitely.
that he was able to, you know, have that in his own right before he goes off onto his next adventure, kind of thing. You know, they kind of, towards the end of it, they kind of play it up for, you know, laughs. Like, you know, you think something serious is going on with him, and it's
hemorrhoids.
like, that's all.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, hemorrhoids isn't great.
Right? Yeah. That's not a good thing.
But no, that was like, that was almost too, for me. Like, it was almost too much of a subverting expectations moment.
Big time.
Like,
big time.
We're just kidding. He's not really sick.
He just got this. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah. But I didn't really have any other negatives. Like, really negatives. Like, that was the only thing. Is it like, it still had those anime moments for me. But other than that, I didn't really have any issues with the show. Yeah. And it was an easy watch. 12 episodes.
Yeah. It does go by quick.
Yeah, very fun, and I enjoyed it for the most part. Yeah.
The live action movie, the live action movies are typically, they're a little bit different from the animes. That's always how it goes. But it is good. This was, I think the main actor they had in this show, the live action movie was very good. Okay. He was extremely. He seemed like he was more the embodiment of the Akira character from that show in this than most other live action adaptations I've seen. So he did a great job. Everyone else, I shouldn't say everyone else. The guy playing Kenichiro was, I don't know, Kenichiro was supposed to be like this, like buff, handsome, supermodel-esque kind of guy, and this guy was not. No, I'm not, no offense to him, but he didn't fit the character. And I've seen that a lot in anime when the live action adaptations, like characters like really don't fit. It's like they weren't even trying, or I don't know. They couldn't. They couldn't find someone that wanted to do the role or something. I don't know what, but it is still a good movie though. It's good. It sticks pretty close to the anime. Nice. I would say, but. It was I think overall though it's a good show. So you have any what do you want to give it overall? Are you ready to do you have any other negatives?
No, nothing else to say, man. I really had a lot of fun with this show, and so far this is maybe not, I mean, because Jujutsu Kaisen was pretty great, but like this isn't like it's hard for me to say if this is the best anime I've seen since we started covering anime. But I did enjoy it the most, and it did connect with me a lot more. Right,
that's always the thing. It's gonna be what resonates with anybody. So
I had a lot of fun with it. So I think with that, I'll probably, since I gave Jujutsu Kaisen a 90, maybe this one's a 92 for me.
Oh, okay.
Just because of how I felt about it. About the characters and how much it connected with me. So I'm gonna give it a 92 for the first season. As far as definitely drop what you're doing and watch it, because I think a lot of people can get a lot out of this. This could be something that, like, even if you're not an anime fan, or a zombie fan or whatever fan, you can connect to this. If you're a regular person that's had a job that you've hated, like most of us in this world have had, you'll connect to it.
Yeah, and again, it is something. It's an easy watch. It's fun to watch. It talks about something that most adults will be able to relate to, at some point in time. If you're a younger person, it's just kind of fun to watch. You know what I mean? Oh, if I was in the zombie apocalypse, I'd be grabbing this and taking this. That's typically what you think of. As an older person, and you see this person that had this job that sucked and blah blah blah. It's great. It's great storytelling that that everybody of a certain age can relate to, so that it makes it good for that reason. So and there's always the lesson of, necessarily like, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today kind of thing. Don't push your happiness and joy down the road. Don't burden yourself currently with something that is, destroying your soul. When you can be doing something else that you enjoy. I think we've said that on the show a few times before too. Even if you're not doing if you're doing exactly the thing you want to do, just to be in the orbit of that thing you enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, you can find fulfillment in that.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I would say drop what you're doing and watch this too. As far as the score, I might give it like maybe like an 89, 90 kind of thing, somewhere around there. Like I said, I feel like the best part of the series was like in episode like 1. Like that said it all right there. Just like the fact that this guy was so happy that you know, like I said, the world ends, and his happy thought is like, I don't have to go to work. You know what I mean? And again, it's not so much that, sure, he had a terrible, terrible job, but how many of you out there have a job that's not necessarily like a terrible, terrible job, but if you didn't have to go anymore, would you go? Like, would you be like, if I don't have to go to work anymore, of course you're going to walk away from it kind of thing. Yeah. Most people aren't in that situation where I love what I'm doing, so I'm going to stick with it kind of thing, you know, hell or high water. So it's a great lesson. And, you know, there's some campy silliness in there along the way. But, I think the first episode is just like, it's gold, man. It's just in your face how great it is. Yeah.
Immediately establishes what's going on.
Right.
And you get it. So
yeah,
most definitely. Cool. Well, is that gonna be it for something?
I think so.
Check it out. Let us know what you guys think. And
check it out though. Check it out. Check it out.
Most definitely. That's it, huh?
Yeah.
Let's get into what are we doing this week. What are we into this week? I just gotta say real quick. I wanted to bring it up to you. My dad has been watching The Community.
Oh, watching Community?
Yeah, he's been binging it quite a bit. Yeah.
Love it.
He had gone up to the desert with my mom. They have a new RV, so they went to go test the RV out. They wanted to give it a trial run. Yeah, right. It's a nice RV too, and they took it out to like Palm Desert or something like out there. And he said, like, you know, when there's downtime, he just was looking for something to watch. He started watching that Community.
Yeah, it's gold.
And I had walked in the other day from work, and I heard, it was like, I forgot what episode it was, but he's like on an episode like, man, 18 or 9. Oh, the episode where when Jeff is choosing between Britta and the professor, the one who both like him, basically. And I was watching, I heard it, and I was like, wait a minute, I know this, and I want to go watch it. And I was like, you watching Community? He's like, yeah, I just started watching it. It's pretty funny. And then I was like, yeah, I know it is. Yeah, so me and him talked a lot about it. And then then I came home from work the next day, and he was like, let me tell you, I just couldn't get that song out of my head. The Britta is a B, a GDB, or that song because like.
I remember. I gotta watch it.
Oh yeah, because she breaks up with that guy Vaughn. He's like the hippie guy.
Yeah.
The guy with little nipples.
I was about to say like somebody's nipples, right?
Nipples, yeah. I guess he wrote that poem for her, and then Jeff saw it, and everybody ended up seeing it, and so he got mad and broke up with her. And he has a band, so him and then Pierce joins the band, and they write a song about Britta. And my dad said he was like, oh yeah, I was doing some caulking work, and I couldn't stop singing that song in my head. And I was
nice.
Like,
yeah, that's cool.
That was one of the shows I did not think that he would enjoy.
Yeah, huh?
But yeah, he seems to be enjoying it. So I'm
that's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's generational to me, man. That's crazy. My dad's way older than I am, and for us to both like that show so far, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. It's hard to peg people, man.
Yeah, right. That
even
was
family.
That was a surprise because we don't have the same sense of humor either. So, but that was he seemed to enjoy it. So
it really kind of speaks to how good the show is. You know what I mean? How if a show is smart, clever, done well. Has you seen Arrested Development?
Not yet. That one might be one of them. Yeah,
I bet he liked that too.
That Community, he might like that too. Yeah.
Because those are both they're smarter shows.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And they're both doing their own thing. But they're
very
clever
smart
shows. Yeah,
exactly. But
that's cool. I love it.
Oh man, I'm watching Shippuden obviously still. And then I started watching I watched a couple episodes of Shoot. Never mind.
Shoot?
Yeah. I guess nothing. No, I was watching something, but yeah, Shippuden I guess is all I've been watching.
All right, well, let me tell you what I've been watching. Maybe it'll ring a bell. I don't know how I started watching it. Well, I like Zorro. But there is a Zorro on, I think it's on Amazon. It's on Prime, but it's based on, I think it's a Spanish show. Yeah. So it's translated, it's dubbed or whatever. There might be a subbed version of it. I just happened to click on it, and it's different. It's different from the they've taken a lot of liberties with this show.
Okay.
But it's actually but it's not too bad though. I'm still entertained with it. I think I've only gotten up to like maybe episode 4 or 5. But yeah, I don't know why. I just clicked on it and said, let me watch like the first few minutes of the first episode.
Yeah.
Kind of see what's going on. And like I said, it's very different. And then I end up watching for like, 4 or 5 hours or something.
Nice.
So yeah, so not too bad. Solo Leveling is on Crunchyroll.
Oh yeah, you watching that? Or?
I am watching that. I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done here. Yeah, I'm actually watching. I'm trying to think, am I watching that before I watch One Piece? So that lets you know how serious.
Wow, you're about the show. Wow.
Yeah, so take that into account.
Yeah, interesting.
We're serious about One Piece. You've been looking
if you're looking at our, because they're watching our show right now. This looks great.
You crazies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's about it for the most part.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just watching some other stuff here and there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, the show that I started watching. I've already seen it a bunch of times.
You remember. Yeah.
But it was Everybody Hates Chris.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, it just kind of popped in my head because I watched that Chappelle.
Yeah, the Dreamer.
And there's that one part where he's talking about Chris Rock getting slapped, And then at the very end of that, he just says, "Everybody hates Chris," and he sings that song that they always sing at the end of the episode. And I was like, I want to watch that show again. It's been years.
Right on.
Started watching it. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny show. Yeah, I think it's hilarious. Cool. Have you seen it all? Or?
I have not actually.
Oh no,
I think I've seen like bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, no, it's very funny, man. It's very funny. Yeah, it's a great cast. Terry Crews is awesome. And It's a really good show.
Yeah,
so watch. Cool. I don't think I finished it. I may have gotten like 1 or 2 seasons in at one point and then never finished it. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good show. It's pretty funny.
Nice. Okay, so,
join that.
Check that out.
Yeah, I gotta always have something in the background. And that was like one of those. I was like, this is a good one to have.
I think for whatever reason, like the name threw me off. In all honesty, like the
really?
fact that it was called "Everybody Hates Chris," right when Everybody Loves Raymond was out, I thought, why are you like kind of like biting off of that or copying that?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that wasn't. I'm assuming that wasn't the point, or
maybe it was. Yeah.
Maybe like I'm sure he wasn't doing anything to copy like that show.
Yeah.
But that title, the fact, I honestly think, in my opinion, like sometimes titles that's gonna be something that will make somebody say in the first place that they want to watch it or not. And the only reason why I say that is because there was another show, and I can't think of her name right now. Karen Gilliam, that she played Nova. No, she didn't play Nova. She played Nebula.
Nebula.
In the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So if anybody's like seen her like outside of makeup, which is crazy, like she's like this redhead Scottish. She's great. She was in Doctor Who. That's where I first saw her.
Yeah.
But she was in a TV show called Selfie that came out in America.
Oh, with John Cho, right?
Yes. Yeah. It was I think they only did 1 season, unfortunately. But when it came out, I think because it was her, I watched that first episode.
Yeah, same.
Hilarious.
Okay.
I thought that episode. No, I take that back. I thought the whole show was phenomenal. It was. I thought it was written well. The comedy was very, very funny in my opinion. But again, the show was called Selfie.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, there was a lot of negative thinking about selfies and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think how long ago it was. Like now people doing selfies, like you don't care. But at that point in time, it felt like one of these, millennial preppy, Kardashian things that I'm not going to be a part of kind of thing.
I see, yeah.
So I feel like if anybody would have watched the show, they might have liked it, but that I feel the title might have thrown people off. Like I'm not into that kind of, stupid new fad.
Social media
stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I'm not going to bother watching it. That's
I see.
My own observation.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, check out the show. Everybody Hates Chris. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And check out Selfie. I don't know if you can find it anywhere. So
it was on Netflix for, I think it was.
Was it?
For a long, that's where I saw the first episode.
Really?
That was years ago.
Huh.
So, yeah.
But anywho,
I guess that's it, huh?
That's it.
Yeah. We did it. We made it through the episode.
Right.
Yeah. Good job, us. Yeah.
But watch the show though. It is. It's gonna resonate with you 100%. You're gonna be watching scenes in it, and you're gonna like, man, I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the cool thing about it. You're gonna have so many like, man, I get it
moments.
moments in this show. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I guess that's what we did then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Next week, our schedule says we're covering Undead Unluck, which is another anime series that came out recently.
Schedule says.
But the schedule doesn't control me. I control the schedule.
There you go. Psalm 100. Break those chains.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we might be covering Undead Unluck. But we have a couple of things on this, like in the stratosphere of things to cover.
Right.
Yeah, but tentatively, that's what we're covering next week.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, I guess we did it, huh? We're done?
We did it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have our own personal pops on the as our centerpiece. We didn't talk about that.
Kind of sticks with the theme.
Yeah, because I feel like a zombie, and that's me there. I'm trying to break free with the things that I love.
I'm a superhero.
And you are Mark Geiger.
Yeah.
Or whatever the superhero name was.
It's we've all been there. We've all been in that moment of having the job where in my heart and soul, I've always known I've needed to be over here.
Yeah.
But work, society, blah, 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 told me I need to be over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, the show delves right into that.
Most definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man, I posted on my social media about going to Kevin Smith the other day.
Nice.
And the last thing he said before he signed off was, if there is any dream that's been inside you for your whole life that you haven't pursued yet, and he tapped on his wrist, on his watch, and he was like, time's ticking. Like, go do it. Take your first step this year. No excuses. He's like, I think he said, because I am living proof that an idiot can make all of his dreams come true. So go out there and go do it yourself. So if I can leave anything at the end of the day, that's what I learned this week, and I want to go make sure that happens. So
nice.
Yeah. So make sure you guys do it as well.
Please.
Don't waste your time doing something that you hate.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it.
It's real, man.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
and
you don't have a lot of time. I mean, I'm not saying that you're dying tomorrow, but
right.
Time's moving on.
It's and it sneaks up on you. You know what I mean? Like this one episode, 3 years went by for this guy.
Yeah. So
it's
man.
Time is a thief.
Exactly. So thieve it back. I don't know. Steal your time back and do what you want to do. You know
do
what
you want to do.
Right so anyway, that's it from Geek Off The Street. Thanks for tuning in as always.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. My name's Trent.
And my name is Mark.
And this has been
Geek Off The Street.
Yes, we did. Yeah. We gonna try, I guess.
Let's do an intro.
Yeah,
that's my take.
That's a good take.
Every once in a while.
every once in a while, you I follow the
yeah, I do what we've been doing.
Yeah.